Herbivorous animals, while not as bold as predators, can also be extremely dangerous fighters. Certain individual bulls resist entire lion prides, and even a timid zebra, in order to save its life, can trample its enemy. Now you will see the most epic cases in which herbivores demonstrated that messing with them is not a good idea. With their elongated snouts and smooth movements, moose have gained a reputation as peaceful and calm animals. Their strength is underestimated. Predators also make this mistake. In reality, moose are incredibly powerful animals, weighing close to a ton. Moreover, they are always in good shape. Moose can run for miles without rest, escaping from pursuit. In addition, moose are intelligent and aware of their advantages. For example, this beast went into deep water. Moose are excellent swimmers and can even dive. But here, the hoofed creature demonstrated cunning. Its shoulder height is greater than that of a horse. A moose can calmly stand at a depth where a wolf has to constantly paddle to stay afloat. The wolf cannot fight the moose, so it soon gets exhausted and retreats. It underestimated the cunning of this herbivore. Yes, moose prefer to run away from wolves and other predators, but if you corner herbivores, they will fight desperately. In battle, moose use all the advantages of their size as their main weapon: powerful, huge, and massive antlers. If deer use antlers as piercing weapons, then moose antlers are essentially battering rams. Simple, without frills, but incredibly effective. One moose with its antlers and powerful hoof strikes can literally scatter several wolves as if they were made of paper. But even if a moose doesn't have antlers, it can still drive away a bear, as if it's not the continent's largest predator, but some audacious cub. Menacing with a moose is a bad idea. For one mature male, only 6 or 7 adult wolves might dare to go on the hunt. If there are fewer predators, one can only sympathize with them and hope that someone will take care of their wolf cubs. Predatory animals are often smaller than those they hunt. Compare the dimensions of a lion and a buffalo, a wolf and a moose. Hoof animals win in size and mass several times over, yet predators continue to successfully hunt them. This is thanks to the fact that most herbivores tend to be skittish and panic-prone. When a predator ambushes or startles its prey, it can't utilize the full potential of its size and offer proper resistance. Bulls are an exception to this rule. Horned, powerful, and very strong, these animals seem eager for the opportunity to measure their strength against predators. They too can be made to panic and flee. They are not always able to fight on equal terms with large predators. Nevertheless, it is bulls and buffaloes that more often than other herbivores turn around and choose to fight instead of fleeing. Sometimes bold individuals can fight even against enemies with a numerical advantage. Just look at the courage of this hoofed creature right here. It faces several lionesses, and most importantly, it succeeds. A massive lioness armed with claws as long as daggers is simply shocked. The bull decided to teach her how to fly. One strike, and the predator, weighing as much as a small motorcycle, lifts off the ground with all 4 paws and performs a true acrobatic feat. A genuine feat that deserves your like, doesn't it? Moreover, buffaloes often gather in huge herds that numerically far exceed lion prides. If bulls spot predators, they use their advantage and immediately attack. It looks incredibly frightening and epic. Lions have to climb trees, just like ordinary cats. And if buffaloes manage to surround several predators, they will ram them, try to trample them, and drive them as far away from their herd as possible. In fact, there are several types of herbivores that, at the first sign of danger, switch to counterattack and immediately engage in battle. Meet the oryx antelope, a born fencer. It has long, straight horns that slightly curve backward. Most herbivorous species use their horns for battle with their kind, for example, during the mating season. Of course, horns are also used for defense against predators, but much less frequently. The oryx is an exception. The horns of this animal are specialized weapons against attacks by carnivores. Usually, the antelope holds its head in a way that the long and sharp horns prevent a predator from unexpectedly jumping onto the neck. If even a large predator attacks the oryx head-on, instead of attempting to escape, the hoofed animal prefers an honest fight. It turns towards the enemy and lowers its head so that a running lion, hyena, or leopard will run into the point. Such tactics require the animal to be cool-headed and resilient, and the oryx excels in these qualities. If the predator fails to stop and collides with the horns, it is unfortunately guaranteed to sustain a severe injury. Stabbing strikes have less stopping power than slashing or crushing ones, but they pose a greater risk of internal organ damage. Any modern fencer can confirm this. The blade easily penetrates flesh and destroys internal organs. If the antelope's horn strikes the abdomen, it can damage the stomach or intestines. Not only is this incredibly painful, but it also guarantees a fatal inflammation for the predator. If the horn hits the head, there's a high probability of damaging the eyes. Pretty terrifying, isn't it? Predators are uneasy about this too. It's good if the lioness realizes her mistake in choosing prey at the very last moment, stops, and runs away. The oryx tactic works 100%. Stabbing strikes are less effective than a powerful paw strike, so even if the horn injuries are a large predator, there's a chance it will finish off the antelope. Besides, experienced hunters can dodge the antelope's horns or make the oryx panic and turn its back to the enemy. However, the willingness of this hoofed creature to risk itself just to deal with the aggressor on its own is enough to deter many predators. So, powerful predators rarely attack oryxes, which also gather in groups. Paradoxically, those who are willing to fight to the end are less often forced to fight than those who will run away from any threat. What are your thoughts on this? This lioness thought that she could catch an impala by surprising it. The impala is incredibly fast, but now it has no room for maneuvering and acceleration. The lioness, however, underestimated her opponent. The impala not only runs fast, but is also one of the most maneuverable creatures on the planet. The hoofed animal reacted lightning fast to the lioness's pounce, literally leaped over the predator, then turned in midair and fled while the lioness was engulfed in dust. Zebras and wildebeests are the favorite prey of large predators in Africa. These herbivores unite in huge, often mixed herds, numbering tens and hundreds of thousands. By migrating across the savanna in these enormous groups, they search for abundant water sources and vast pastures. Joining herds is part of their defensive tactics. However, if you think that antelopes and zebras form armies for active protection against predators, then you're mistaken. These herbivores simply huddle together with their backs to each other. Despite their impressive physical qualities, zebras and wildebeests are skittish and prone to panic. When a pack of hyenas or a lion pride surrounds them, the herbivores scatter, hoping the carnivores will catch someone else. Therefore, wildebeests and zebras almost never come to the aid of those caught in front of them. After all, in doing so, herbivores risk falling into the clutches of the predator, something hoofed animals almost always avoid at any cost. Almost. Among them, there are courageous individuals willing to risk themselves to help their fellow species. There are also strong animals trying to escape danger, but willing to show a few self-defense moves if necessary. And you know what? If a zebra decides to fight, even a seasoned lioness will regret engaging with such an opponent. Firstly, zebras have hooves to fend off the predator if it gets close enough. But besides that, a zebra is armed with teeth. While herbivores don't have pronounced fangs, these hoofed animals feed on tough vegetation, with which they grind with flat and large teeth. A bite from these jaws is very painful. This lioness surely regretted choosing such a bold zebra as prey. The zebra can literally pull the predator off its comrade's throat, allowing both herbivores to continue fleeing while the enemy recovers from the shock. Or, the zebra may break free from a predator's grasp, then pin the lioness to the ground and start biting her. Additionally, zebras are capable of delivering powerful kicks during desperate chases. For example, there's footage where a zebra knocked the breath out of a lioness, performing a kick like a boxing champion's uppercut. Or it stunned the lioness with a powerful hoof strike to the jaw. Anthony Joshua would definitely envy such accuracy, wouldn't he? One hit, and here comes the knockout. It's not just about catching the prey, you also need to finish it off. These leopards forgot about this simple hunting rule and unfortunately paid the price. The spotted predator caught its prey, managed to knock it down with powerful paw strikes, and reached the throat. However, leopards don't sever arteries on the neck. They strangle their prey, especially if it's as muscular as a wild boar. Another leopard decided to snatch the prey from its competitor, leading to a battle between the two predators. But it was a mistake. They tangled with a boar that was too strong and enduring. It withstood the strangulation, and when the panthers got distracted by their scuffle, it slipped literally between their claws. The leopards were shocked. They underestimated the strength and will to live of the boar. Just one last second, and the predators were left without lunch. This is not an isolated case. Here, a leopard unexpectedly ambushed a boar and managed to bring the victim to the ground, then clamped onto its throat. But the boar continued to scream even when the fangs were compressing its trachea. And it worked! This attracted the attention of a hyena to the noise. Fighting with her and continuing to strangle the powerful boar was too much for the leopard. However, the hyena doesn't understand that the boar is squealing not from pain, but from rage. She thinks that she can take away the ready-made meal from the leopard and even maim the competitor. But she underestimated this boar. As soon as the panther loosened its jaws to fend off the aggressive hyena, the boar quickly rose, showing its tusks, and scattered them both. Although the leopard had just managed to bring him down, it was due to the element of surprise. In terms of brute force, the boar proved to be superior. Just see how he tossed the leopard off with one swift blow. The cat miraculously avoided severe injuries from the tusks. And the hyena is in shock. She just realized what she got herself into. She can't resist the boar's charge, and the hoofed animal quickly escapes from the predators it gave such an impressive resistance to. A bit sorry for the leopard though, isn't it? Or do you always root for herbivores? Share your opinion in the comments. Crocodiles can drag wild antelopes or zebras underwater. Admit it, we all fall victim to the stereotype that domestic animals are weaker than their wild counterparts, right? And if a crocodile can easily handle a large wild hoofed animal capable of migrating across several countries, then surely this reptile can manage a domestic cow that peacefully resides in a pen and is not accustomed to the hardships of the wild. Well, just get ready for a surprise. Just like this crocodile, whose hunting beginning went perfectly, it grabbed an adult, well-fed cow in a way that left her no chance to escape. The grip on the hind leg's base deprived the victim of maneuverability, yet the reptile's jaws couldn't slip. All that was left was to drag the prey into the depths, drown it, or simply finish it off. But the cow was clearly against such a turn of events. It just lifted the entire body of the crocodile above the water. The reptile couldn't drag the cow or even slow her down. Helpless, the crocodile hung under the hoofed animal's hind leg, shocked that the cow simply walked out of the water with it. For some time, the cow calmly stood there, contemplating how to climb up the slope with such an unpleasant burden. And when the crocodile realized that the chances of overcoming such prey were as slim as a flea's, it just gave up and crawled back into the water. Certainly, domestic bulls and cows should not be underestimated. European bulls are descendants of wild aurochs, the extinct European bison that, even in medieval times, symbolized untamed strength. After domestication, their descendants have lost about 30% in size over hundreds and thousands of years living alongside humans. But that doesn't mean the domestic bulls became weak. Feeding a giant aurochs was impractical, yet they passed their strength on to their descendants. This bull doesn't attempt to attack anyone. It's not aggressive and doesn't make any sudden movements. It simply found itself next to a truck and the animal decided to test its strength. While the vehicle owner clearly didn't expect the bull to effortlessly lift a car weighing over 2 tons with a single horn. In many regions worldwide, domestic bulls graze freely. Of course, farmers wouldn't allow domestic livestock into the territory of wild animals without confidence that the herd would return home intact. Watch how a domestic bull resists a wild buffalo. It's unclear what the animals disagreed upon. Perhaps the buffalo wanted to drive away the herd of cows, or vice versa. Take leadership within it. In any case, the domestic bull shouldn't have been underestimated. Each of its horn strikes pushed the more massive buffalo back, compelling it to retreat. And though they are often watched by shepherd dogs, many breeds of domestic cows don't really need their protection at all. Take the Texas Longhorn, for example. This formidable giant looks pretty impressive, doesn't it? Would you dare to approach it? The males of this breed boast one of the largest and most expansive sets of horns among all animals on the animal planet. The horn span reaches 7 feet, over 2 meters, and that's just an average result. Some horns can be even longer. The duel between 2 longhorns looks intimidating, especially when the gigantic horns of these males clash in a ramming attack. If you think domestic cows only have these horns as decoration, then you are mistaken. The thing is, herds of such cows freely roam through the territory of wild herbivores regularly. Here's a video of a longhorn encountering a modestly horned and aggressively inclined bison. Perhaps the bison simply underestimated its distant relative, but challenging its anger was a clear mistake. The longhorn put up an impressive resistance against its opponent. The entire head of the bison fit between the longhorn's horns. Although the wild beast has more experience in butting heads with other herbivores, the domestic cousin really holds its ground. The 2 massive hoofed animals engage in a struggle like true athletes. Interestingly enough, they don't attempt to inflict injuries with the sharp tips of their horns, yet they don't surrender or retreat. And this isn't the only such case. Here's another showdown. Longhorns graze freely, knowing that if a cheeky bison tries to drive them away, the male with powerful horns will surely step in to defend its herd and resist this wild beast. Fortunately, both hoofed animals remained unharmed after this duel. The reddish-golden bison and the bold longhorn both animals are beautiful, and we hope that they came out of this unscathed, don't you agree? There is a rare old black and white recording of a longhorn facing off against a wild lion. What can we say? 100 years ago, people didn't think much about environmental protection and animal welfare. We do not endorse the creators of this video, but thanks to this video, we can see that even against one of the strongest predators on the planet, a domestic bull can stand its ground and even emerge victorious. The initiative initially seems to be on the lion's side. The confined space doesn't allow the bull to attempt fleeing, yet the longhorn here doesn't appear to be fazed at all. It immediately puts up an impressive resistance, shakes off the lion, delivers a few strikes with its hooves, and then transitions to active counterattacks. The lion is in shock, looking around as if silently begging to take this unreasonable horned beast away from him. The predator simply doesn't know how to approach. The horns are too wide, preventing attacks on the bull's throat. And powerful kicks with hooves discourage pouncing from behind. Now, the lion regrets being enclosed in such a confined space with such a monstrous creature. After this impressive display of strength, You might think the Longhorns are brutes, just waiting to be released from tight pens onto the prairie to find victims to attack. Strangely enough, that's not really the case. Towards humans, these giants with enormous horns are very loyal. They are calm and even gentle. An ordinary domestic European bull can sometimes demonstrate with stubbornness that a construction crane is needed for transportation. The Longhorns, on the contrary, are docile and kind towards humans. While they can stand up to a lion or a bison, this is a last resort. For the Longhorn, a human is a friend. This unusual behavior has led to an increasing trend in their use as riding animals in their native Texas, replacing horses. This is pretty surprising, isn't it? Yet it's a constructive decision. Not only are these bulls docile and obedient with proper training and preparation, but they can also protect their rider. Giant horns in flight would deter not only bears, but entire packs of wolves from a cowboy atop such a colossal bull. Would you like to ride such an animal? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, especially if you've had experience with these remarkable creatures. It's intriguing to consider if they could actually be trained to protect humans, similar to guard dogs or herding dogs. That would be pretty amazing. While European domestic cows and bulls resemble the Euro-Asian aurochs, on the Indian subcontinent, domestic cows had a different ancestor, and that is the Indian aurochs, originating from the same family. That's why the Indian Zebu differs externally from the European cow. Some distinct features of the Zebu include a small but pronounced hump, a more straight silhouette of the back, a skin folds hanging beneath the throat. However, since both cow ancestors were relatives, Indian Zebus and European cows crossbred successfully. This has led to the emergence of numerous hybrid breeds. Why are they needed? Well, for agriculture. European cows are better suited, as they've developed many dairy and meat breeds over centuries. But Zebus tolerate heat better and can go without water and food for an extended period, and most importantly, they possess natural resistance to diseases carried by blood-sucking insects like mosquitoes. That's why Zebus have spread worldwide, especially in tropical regions. For instance, hundreds of thousands of these cows now inhabit Africa, and no fewer can be found in South America, although many hybrids of Zebus and European breeds exist here. Cattle breeds can vary significantly. Here's a duel between bulls of two breeds, Watusi and Brahman. Both animals are robust and relentless, but they differ significantly in appearance. The Watusi's horns are gigantic, while the Brahman has larger dimensions, mass, and power. So whose side are you on? Zebus indeed have enviable health and, as it turns out, tremendous strength. Here you can see a Zebu fiercely resisting a buffalo. The distant relative, approximately twice the size and even more massive than the Zebu, is overpowered, but the Indian bull digs its hooves into the ground, lowers its head, and resists. It's a case where even in a head-on collision, the advantage in sheer physical strength doesn't guarantee any victory whatsoever. Even when the buffalo prevails over the Zebu, the Indian bull stays put and withstands the enemy's blows. Then it counterattacks, forcing the heavier buffalo to lift off the ground and retreat. The Zebu literally tosses aside its opponent. These dogs seemingly decided to recall their predatory wild ancestor and attacked the Zebu, and this was a big mistake. If the dogs don't behave peacefully like domestic pets, the hoofed animal won't hesitate to retaliate. A few strikes with powerful hooves, and the dog is sent flying in one direction or the other. Each of the bull's blows hit the mark precisely. The dogs didn't expect such resistance from the usually calm giant, and paid the price for underestimating the bull. Which instance of an unexpected demonstration of immense bull strength surprised you today the most? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see new fascinating episodes about wildlife.